Well, hello, my name is Rob Musick. I am the campus chaplain here at the University of Pikeville, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what it means to be a UPIKE bear when it comes to serving our community. What we believe at the University of Pikeville is that service is at the heart of life. We become as we serve alongside of one another, giving and receiving. We are convinced that the way that we give thanks is by giving to others and giving back, right? Out of life of gratitude. But we also believe that all people have something to give. Now, when we think about giving, oftentimes we'll think about finances, but really it's so much more than finances. It's a giving of our attention, giving of our physical labor, giving of our headspace, giving of our hearts, giving of our physical bodies to be present with people. So today, in this moment, I want to say thank you. Thanks for considering volunteering with us, but also we want to just talk about the spirit of what it means to volunteer with UPIKE. Now, the first thing about volunteering with UPIKE is that our students have a great time. We love serving one another. Now here, this picture was taken by a group of students, a lot of our soccer players and a collection of others who got up early in the morning. I think they were there about 6 o'clock in the morning that morning. It was snow on the ground, and they were serving to help raise some money for a nonprofit that helps children who've been abused. So first thing is, service is a great way to connect with people, but really it's a great way to have fun and to connect with others. So let me share with you just real quick about my own journey towards service. As a first-year college student, I was invited to go on and serve in a local nonprofit where I did something real spiritual. I pulled weeds and cut grass. But I worked with the local hospice organization, and wouldn't you know it, after that weekend of service, I discovered that I had gotten into poison ivy and all over my face and all over my hands. It was a terrible beginning of a college experience. Yet the connection with hospice, learning more about the philosophy and what hospice does, would later become a game changer for my life. Because who would know that 3 years later, when I was a senior in college, my best friend, who would have been diagnosed with testicular cancer, would use hospice services in his dying days. 21, my best friend died of cancer, but was able to stay at home and to reduce his pain and bring comfort to his family through the hospice organization. Fast forward years later, I would move to Eastern Kentucky to work with hospice as a hospice chaplain. That volunteer service, which gave me poison ivy, also gave me a window into something that I didn't know anything about, hospice philosophy of care, and would later impact me in my most intimate and personal ways. So I'm not saying all of your volunteering will have that kind of impact on your life, but what I'm saying is it could. It has the potential to really be a game changer for your life. Now, why? Well, we serve because we remember the words of Jesus. Jesus said that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many, to really live our lives for other people. We think that service is a way for us to extend our faith in God and our faith in humanity by giving to others. Also in service, we have a chance of meeting new people, whether it's at the service site or people that we're serving with. But also we have an opportunity to learn something about our community. Oftentimes we will go out to some site or some organization and we'll say, man, even though I've lived here or I've driven past, I just didn't know this place existed. And that can be great, beautiful aspect of learning more about your community. Also, the truth is, when we sweat together, we grow together. For many of us, we may not be all that great at making new connections, but now in a community service project, when you're connecting with other people or serving with other people, sweating with other people, now you have a common experience and you can connect via that way. Also, I think it's really important to realize that your experience and my experience in the University of Pikeville was rooted and grounded in someone else giving. In 1889, Reverend David Blythe helped found a college, a high school, an elementary school, a place of learning for kids in the mountains. In those first couple years, Reverend Blythe took of his own money, literally almost cost him his life because his health declined. And he and the students literally made the bricks in the building that now is the Coleman College of Business. Without Reverend Blythe and those few first volunteers of the Presbyterian Church, UPIKE would not even be a thing. So the very fact that I'm working and you're receiving an education is at the heart a gift or the fruit of someone's volunteering. Now, when we go out to the service sites, it's really important to a couple things. To wear work clothes. What that means is wear tennis shoes or work boots. You can't wear any sandals. I can't say that enough. Do not wear Crocs. Don't wear sandals. Don't wear anything that like exposes your feet, right? But also you want to wear clothes that you can get dirty, that you can paint in, that there's no loss in if something happens to them. Because the last thing you want to do is be worried about your clothing when you're there to serve, right? And if you go out there and you're expected to do this, but they say, hey, we actually need you to do this, we want to be able to greet that opportunity with flexibility and joy and to say, you know what, I'm ready for anything. Also, we want to make sure that you wear gloves when you are working because we want to make sure you don't get poison ivy like I did or paint under your fingernails and you can't get. Try to make this as user friendly as possible. And outside of, being flexible and having a loving heart, probably the third thing I want to remind you of is drink water. Drink as much water as you can. Stay hydrated, especially on the outdoor work sites and as you are serving in the sun. Things to remember. Number one, we ask that you would have a flexible spirit. Sometimes we're told we're going to do this at a work site, but then maybe things kind of change depending on what the organization needs. I want you to be flexible. Remember, this is not your project. You're here to serve with another on what they need or want. Also, when we serve, it's important to realize that what we do, we want to do with excellence. We represent the university, but we also want to bring excellence to our community. So often we deal with, in the mountains of Eastern Kentucky and in Appalachia, we deal with negative stereotyping or shaming. We want to bring excellence to show who we really are. So even though this is not your porch or your railing or your thing in your house, you want to treat it as something that is going to be a castle, right? We want to make sure things are done right and with excellence. Also, as we serve, we want to make sure that we are open to others. Now, not only the people that we serve, but maybe the people that we're serving with. I'll give you an example. One time, one of my students was going out to serve at an animal shelter, and they were surprised when there were some inmates from the local jail who were also serving. And on that day, my student had a great heart and was able to talk and chat and learn and meet people without any type of judgment. And on that day, the student reported back the most rewarding part of the project wasn't actually serving the animals at the shelter, but actually meeting the inmates and hearing from them. So be open to others because that may be the greatest gift of the whole project. Also, as we serve, we want to make sure that we do it with a deep sense of humility. What I mean by that is that as the heart of a servant, we come not to push our agenda. This isn't a day where we want to, push our religious convictions or push our political convictions or push our convictions on how things should be done. We are here to serve. Now, if those opportunities open up and a service site says, hey, I don't exactly know about this, how would you do that? Well, then share. Or if someone wants to engage you in a religious conversation, then please share. But we're not here to push our own agenda because we are meeting this space and this opportunity with humility. But also we're here to learn. So on this day, you may do some roofing. I've never done that before, or learn how to use a weed eater, or maybe you're learning how to paint for the first time. Maybe you're learning how to properly fold up clothes at a thrift store, or how to organize shelves at a food pantry. Take this as an opportunity to learn a new skill while also helping others. And finally, it's important to realize that every person that you encounter, from the person who's driving your van to the person that you serve at the organization, to maybe the person who's coming through the food line, or to the person who is your coworker or teammate that you're serving with, that each person is made in the image of God. Therefore, you want to honor them as if they are God in front of you, treating them with respect, not meeting them with judgment, profoundly giving them love, and assuming the best intentions in mind. Also, as we continue, we want to realize that we volunteer because it's part of our civic responsibilities. It's a part of who we are, but it's also a great way to provide resources to our local nonprofits. And sometimes we make connections that can lead to future jobs, right? We strengthen our skills in communication, leadership, collaboration, things that we're actually going to need. And ultimately, this makes us better citizens. We become more productive in our world. Many of you are very practical, so you think about money, right? In kind of dollars and cents. Let me give you a dollars and cents value. It's estimated now that an hour of community service, an hour of volunteering, is worth $27.20. So imagine if you take a morning and from 5 to 1, you serve at a local nonprofit. You're giving almost 500 or almost $150 to that organization for your 5 hours. It's incredible. That little gift. Now you say, I may not have $150 to give, right? Because my bank account or my debit card is pretty low. Yet in giving those 5 hours, it's as if I'm given $150. And imagine a group of us when we serve together, how much we're blessing our community. I want to leave you with a quote from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Reverend King says this: life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So thanks for considering volunteering with us at UPIKE. And let me leave you with that question. What are you doing for others? If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, Rob Musick. My email is there. It's robertmusick@upike.edu. My cell phone is 419-560-6381. Or come see me in the Armington Science Building on 460 at the top floor, or you can tweet at me at UPIKE Chaplain. Thanks again. Thanks so much for joining with us today.